we will turn it over to John for moderation. John?
Thanks for joining us this afternoon, Mike. We really appreciate your time. What we're going to do, I'll call on the reporters by their name and media outlet. They'll ask you the questions and you can go ahead and answer. We're going to start with Josh Needleman from the Charleston Post and Courier.
Hey, Mike. Dabo was saying earlier how years from now there will be books written and documentaries made about this season, just because of all the sacrifices everyone's had to make. What are some of the sacrifices you've had to make personally?
I would say both me and like everybody else, just like the regular college experience, it's kind of weird, like not being able to hang out with your friends all the time, or, not be able to see your family after the game, not be able to go home during your bye week just because like you don't even want to risk it. Celebrating after wins and stuff like that, being with your buddies on the bus on the way to away games and things like that. No, it's been a lot. But, like I said, everybody's had to go through them. We've all had these trials, and we've managed to get through them. We'll keep on.
Next up is Nathan Baird from Cleveland.com.
Mike, just curious, what sort of confidence does your defense go into games like this with because of Coach Venables and I guess just what he gives to you guys intellectually as far as a game plan before a game even starts?
We always try to, develop that energy like through the week of practice. Our confidence comes from our preparation. And so, that kind of is dependent on us. And Coach V's going to keep us to a standard all week throughout the practice. So, it kind of like feeds off of each other. But, we go into the games confident, but that's just because we've done it all week throughout practice.
We'll now go to Matt Connolly from The State.
Hey, Mike, Nolan was saying earlier that you guys had bingo night tonight. Just what, I guess, how different has this whole bowl experience been, and what's the schedule look like for the rest of the week for you guys?
It's been been very different. Usually we spend almost a whole week out at the bowl site. That's pretty fun. I've always enjoyed that, just kind of getting a different feel, going to practice at different places, walking through at the stadium multiple times, stuff like that. But yeah, that's been different. And, here it's we go home every day. So it's it feels like I'm still in the regular season. But nah, I'm glad we just able to play. I'm glad we able to have a playoff and bowl game, stuff like that. I don't remember what the second thing you asked was, but yeah.
I know y'all bingo night tonight. Do y'all have other things planned the rest of the week?
Practice and meetings. That's about it.
Thank you.
We'll now go to Zachary Brazeler from the New York Post.
Wait, how would you kind of describe this, I guess, rivalry that's kind of been created the last few years with Ohio State? Obviously played in the playoffs twice. Last year was a classic game. Their fans don't really like Dabo very much with some of the stuff he's said. How would you characterize this rivalry?
I would say I kind of think of it as nail biting, like what's next? Oh Lord, are they talking stuff? We talking, everybody got their own little narratives out. Last year was a crazy game, what's about to happen this year? I don't know. It's kind of nail biting to me. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen, and I'm playing in it. But I don't know if I'm excited. I know the people who are just gonna be watching, gotta be excited for it all too.
Now go to Patrick Murphy from 24/7 Sports.
If you had to pick one area of Ohio State's offense that stood out to you the most when you're watching film, what is it and why?
Of course, if you watch the last game, running back ran for 300 yards. So that was pretty outstanding right there. The game starts in the trenches, obviously. And, they have a great quarterback, of course, great receivers, of course. But, at least for myself, my mindset is we got to go out there and, try to stop the run. They got a great offensive line. And Sermon, the back man, he's a great player. Master T, he's a great player. Try to do our best on defense, stop the run. That's what it's been big for me, doing my studies.
We'll go to David Hale from ESPN.
Hey, Mike, over the summer when you guys decided to speak out on social justice stuff, I think you guys certainly quite rightfully got a lot of praise for doing that. Meanwhile, Dabo was criticized for maybe not always saying exactly what people wanted him to say. What was the response inside the locker room from people like you who were trying to be very front-facing during all of that, about how he handled it and what he had to think? And do you think that it was sort of a lot of misperception about who he was and what he was all about and what he was trying to say?
Yeah, definitely. Before anything was said publicly or anything like that, Devil came to the team and addressed us personally. And he said everything he needed to say to us, to where we felt comfortable to go out there and, say what we had to say. But also, we were comfortable and, just inside our walls. I know what type of guy he is. Everybody in here knows what type of guy he is. And, it kind of like rubbed me the wrong way, just like seeing people like, poking him from all these different angles, but we knew internally, who he is as a guy. We know he cares about us, cares about all his players. And, so we weren't too fazed about what was going on the outside, but at the same time, like, you don't want to see anybody talking bad about your coach, especially when you know his character, who he is as a man, and people are attacking him that way. But yeah, he addressed everything with us first, and he's a good dude. I ain't like how they was coming on my coach now.
We'll go to Grace Rayner from The Athletic.
Mike, we obviously know all about his leaderships and the intangibles he brings with his experience, but just from a pure football perspective, how is Clemson's defense better when Skowski is healthy and contributing like the defense is intended for him to?
He's just, I feel like I don't even know like what I could really say, but it's just like so evident that we play on like another level. Of course he brings the energy, and he's such a smart player, man. The communication is just, I'm not saying it's like up whenever he's there, but it's like we all on our P's and Q's the whole time. We saying everything, calling out things the whole time. It's just like another level of like just knowledge whenever he's out there. He's got plenty of experience, and that helps the whole defense, man. He knows everything, from the front seven to back seven, everything. He sees things. A lot of times, teams with tempo, it's hard to get all your pre-snap reads and things like that, and sometimes in a short amount of time, and, with guys like scouts, communicating little things, you're able to pick up on things right before the snap. And so it just, just that maturity level, that experience, man, it helps bring the whole defense to a whole nother level. And I'm glad to have him back, of course.
Time for one final question. This will be Ralph Russo from the Associated Press.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this. So you made mention of like sort of the weirdness of this year. I'm wondering, you guys are winning, so I guess that really motivates you to sort of stay on point. Do you have friends at other teams that maybe weren't, like throughout college, that weren't as successful? And did you sense that it was harder for them? I don't know if you want to give me any specifics, but just in general, did you ever have conversations like that with maybe friends who play elsewhere?
Yeah, I definitely did. Coming from high school, I went to IMG. And so like all of my guys coming out, went to other schools, and, I seen like a lot of, different problems, teams have faced. I'm not going to get into specifics. That would kind of be messed up. But I've seen teams that, have dealt pretty badly with COVID, and just like hearing, things they do and things we do differently, our protocols, we take everything seriously here. I feel like, and I'm not saying they don't, I'm not saying other schools don't, but, we don't really fold on, the things that we put in place. We going to have the right amount of space between everybody. We're going to wear our mask in the facility. We're going to socially distance all the time. And, just not folding and staying strong on, the things that you have to do, just during this time, it's hard, but, we've stuck with it all year. And I'm not saying other people haven't, but, we don't really get a lot of people with cases in a little minute. It's been a little while. But yeah, it's also been good to see that, and like, hey guys, we're doing a good job. Like let's keep going on. Like you see other programs out here having problems. You know, we don't want that to be us. You know, just keep going hard. You know, we got a certain amount of time left. And so, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time today. We'll be all set with you, and we'll move on to our next player.